Assalamu alaikum, my beloved brothers and sisters. There comes a moment in life when you finally realize that no human being, no matter how close, can fix what is happening inside your heart. And in that moment, when the world feels heavy and your own strength feels too small, there is a sentence, simple, gentle, but incredibly powerful. A sentence that opens a door you once believed was closed forever. Stay with me for a few moments, because that very sentence may be the turning point your heart has been praying for. When the heart reaches the point of quiet desperation, my beloved brothers and sisters, every one of us goes through a moment where the heart feels as though it can no longer absorb any more pain. You wake up carrying a heaviness you cannot explain to anyone, and you go to sleep hoping tomorrow will feel different, yet nothing seems to change. You try your best to stay strong on the outside, but inside there is a quiet desperation that only the one who created you truly understands. There are days when you sit alone, not because you enjoy the silence, but because you feel too drained to be present for anyone. There are moments when your thoughts race, your chest tightens, and you wonder why life suddenly feels so overwhelming. You may try to distract yourself, you may try to push through, you may even convince people around you that everything is fine, but deep down you know you are barely holding on. And this is the point where many people think they are failing, but in reality, this is often the moment Allah is drawing you closer to Him. Sometimes He allows your strength to weaken, not to break you, but to remind you that relying completely on yourself is exhausting, while relying on Him brings peace you cannot find anywhere else. He knows the tears you do not show, the questions you do not ask out loud, the battles you fight in silence. Your heart may be confused, but your Lord is not. Your life may feel uncertain, but His plan is never uncertain. Every difficulty you are experiencing is seen, every silent cry is heard, and every hidden pain is recorded not to punish you, but to purify you, strengthen you, and prepare you for what He has written ahead. And very often, it is at this lowest moment, when you feel you have run out of places to turn, that your heart begins to realize something. The help you were searching for from people can only come from the one who controls people. The comfort you were looking for in the world can only come from the one who created the world. And the peace you were chasing through your efforts can only come from the one who places peace inside hearts. This realization, as painful as it may be in the beginning, is actually one of the most beautiful gifts Allah gives to His servants, because it prepares your heart to say the words that will shift your entire life. The power of surrender when your strength reaches its limit. My beloved brothers and sisters, there comes a stage in every believer's journey where your own strength reaches a dead end. You have tried every path that seemed logical. You have spoken to people you trusted. You have pushed yourself emotionally, mentally, and physically, yet the outcome stubbornly remains the same. And slowly, something inside you begins to realize that maybe this battle was never meant to be won through effort alone. This is where the heart begins to understand what true surrender really means. Surrender is not giving up. Surrender is handing over the burden to the one who can carry it without effort. It is the moment you shift from "I must fix everything myself" to "My Lord will take care of what I cannot." It is a turning point so subtle that sometimes you do not even notice when it happens, but Allah sees it immediately. When you reach this point, a beautiful transformation begins inside you. Instead of fighting your thoughts, you begin calming them by remembering the one who controls every outcome. Instead of panicking about tomorrow, you begin finding comfort in knowing that tomorrow belongs to the one whose wisdom is perfect. Instead of feeling responsible for every detail of your life, you start recognizing that the one who wrote your story does not make mistakes. This surrender is not weakness. In fact, it is the strongest spiritual moment a believer experiences, because it is in this moment that you stop relying on limited human ability and start relying on unlimited divine mercy. And Allah, in His kindness, responds to this shift instantly, not always by changing your situation immediately, but by changing the condition of your heart so that you face the situation with peace instead of fear. You begin noticing that the same problem that once terrified you no longer feels as heavy. The same uncertainty that once made you anxious now becomes something you can walk through calmly. The same pain that once held you back now begins teaching you lessons your heart was closed to before. This is how surrender works. It doesn't always remove the test, but it removes the panic from your heart so you can navigate the test with dignity and faith. And my beloved brothers and sisters, it is often after this moment of surrender that Allah begins opening doors you could not open, softening hearts you could not reach, clearing paths you could not imagine, and rearranging your circumstances in ways you never thought possible. Because when you hand over your affairs sincerely to Allah, the help begins in ways you do not see. Through means you would never expect, at a time you didn't even realize was best for you. This is why the heart learns to whisper a certain phrase, a phrase that carries the weight of every worry, every fear, every uncertainty, every unanswered prayer, a phrase so powerful that it becomes the believer's anchor in the middle of every storm. Your heart will soon hear that phrase, but before you do, understand this with certainty. The moment you surrender your burden to Allah, the burden no longer belongs to you. It belongs to the one who never fails, never forgets, and never turns away those who place their trust in Him. How Allah's help arrives quietly, gently, and exactly when your heart needs it most. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the greatest misconceptions we carry is believing that when Allah sends His help, it will arrive with loud signs, sudden miracles, and dramatic changes. But the reality is that divine help often begins in the softest, quietest, and most unnoticed moments of your life. Moments so subtle that you only recognize their beauty when you look back and realize that the healing began long before the solution appeared. Sometimes Allah's help arrives in the form of a sudden calmness you cannot explain. You may still be facing the same problem, the same uncertainty, the same challenge, yet for the first time in a long time, your heart feels a little lighter. That small shift is not random. It is not psychological. It is the first sign that Allah has stepped into your situation and He is now carrying what you once carried alone. Sometimes His help comes through clarity. A decision you struggled with for months suddenly becomes clear. A direction you were confused about becomes obvious. A path that once terrified you now feels manageable. And you realize that the confusion was not a sign of punishment. It was a sign that Allah was waiting for your heart to soften enough to accept His guidance. Sometimes His help arrives through protection, not through gain. A relationship you begged for suddenly ends. A door you desperately wanted to walk through suddenly closes. An opportunity you thought would change your life disappears overnight. At that moment, you may feel hurt and disappointed, but later you discover that Allah removed it because it would have harmed your heart, your peace, your future, or your faith. This is help in its purest form, protection dressed like loss. Sometimes His help is hidden in the people He sends. A comforting voice appears when you feel alone. Someone offers kindness at the exact moment you feel forgotten. A message reaches you at the very minute you are about to break. These are not coincidences. These are gentle reminders that Allah can send relief through anyone at any time in ways you never expected. And sometimes the help comes in silence. Nothing around you changes, no doors open, no solutions appear, yet you find yourself standing stronger than before. You wake up with a little more hope. You pray with a little more sincerity. You walk through your day with a little more patience. This inner transformation is one of the greatest forms of help, because when Allah strengthens the heart, even the heaviest burdens become lighter. My beloved brothers and sisters, understand this deeply. Allah is never late. His help is never random. His timing is never flawed. He knows exactly when your heart is ready to receive, when your faith is ready to grow, and when your story is ready to shift. What feels like delay to you is perfect arrangement to Him. You may think nothing is happening, but behind the scenes your life is being aligned. Doors are being prepared, hearts are being softened, paths are being cleared, protection is being placed around you. And your soul is being shaped into the person who will appreciate the blessing when it finally arrives. And when that moment comes, when the help that has been forming quietly finally reaches your life, you will realize why every tear, every delay, every unanswered prayer, and every difficulty was necessary. You will see that Allah was building you, preparing you, strengthening you, and guiding you toward a moment where your heart would finally be able to say with deep certainty and peace, I was never alone. Allah was helping me all along. But there is something the heart must whisper before that transformation reaches its full beauty, a phrase that aligns your soul with divine help, a phrase that opens every locked door in its own time. You are approaching that phrase now. The wisdom behind delays, disappointments, and the prayers you thought were ignored. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the hardest lessons a believer learns is this: not every delay is a denial, not every silence is a rejection, and not every disappointment is a loss. We often measure life by what we can see, what we can feel, what we can calculate. But Allah measures our life by what will protect our faith, cleanse our hearts, and elevate our souls. And His measurement is perfect, even when it feels painful in the moment. There are times when you ask for something with the fullness of your heart. You plead for it. You dream of it. You imagine how different your life will be if that one prayer is answered. Yet the days pass, the weeks pass, the months pass, and nothing seems to change. You begin to wonder, why is Allah not responding to me? What did I do wrong? Am I not worthy of relief? But my beloved brothers and sisters, if you only knew what Allah knows, you would realize that His silence is often His greatest mercy. Sometimes Allah delays a blessing because if it came too early, it would ruin you rather than raise you. You may think you're ready, but Allah knows the emotional maturity you still need, the spiritual strength you must develop, the patience you must learn, and the wisdom you must gain before receiving what you asked for. Sometimes Allah withholds something not because you are unworthy of it, but because the thing you desire is unworthy of you. He is not denying you happiness. He is protecting you from heartbreak you cannot yet see. He is shielding you from harm disguised as opportunity, from people who would break you, from paths that look beautiful at the start but lead to regret at the end. Sometimes the disappointment you cried about at night was actually Allah pulling you away from a place where your soul would suffer. That job you didn't get, that relationship that didn't work, that plan that fell apart, all of these might have looked perfect from the outside, but inside them were storms you were not meant to experience. There are blessings that only arrive after tears. There are opportunities that only come after patience. There are openings that only appear once Allah has removed what blocks them. And there are gifts that only descend upon a heart that has been softened by waiting, trusting, and believing. My beloved brothers and sisters, understand something very profound. Timing is not just about the blessing. Timing is part of the blessing. When Allah delays something, He is preparing multiple parts of your life to align at the right moment. Your heart, your mindset, your relationships, your circumstances, your spiritual readiness, so that when the blessing finally comes, you can carry it, appreciate it, and protect it. Imagine receiving a blessing when your heart is wounded, you would not recognize it. Imagine receiving success when your character is immature, it would slip away from your hands. Imagine entering a relationship when your soul is not healed, it would break you further. Allah does not send blessings to break His servants. He sends them when they can uplift you. Sometimes delays are not about you at all, they are about the blessing itself. Allah may be refining the person you will meet, improving the job you will receive, removing the obstacles on the path you will walk, or preparing hearts, opportunities, and moments that must align perfectly before they reach you. And sometimes, and this is one of the most beautiful truths, Allah delays because He loves hearing your voice in dua. He loves your closeness, your vulnerability, your sincerity. He loves the way you return to Him in whispers and tears, the way you